Okay. Hi, everyone. This
Hello?
is where y'all say something. Okay, good.
Hello.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I had 25 minutes to test this stuff out before we got started, so I'm glad everything's working out. So, well, hi everybody. I'm Brian Brake, Miss Berlin. I fucked up. Miss Berlin, Mr. Betcher's down there. It's breaking down security. We're starting our 10th year, by the way. As a matter of fact, I think it's 10 years today where a little podcast started recording a show called Kicking Some Hash. And yeah, it's it's interesting milestone to hit 10 years to get this far. So
Do you
Miss
wish you
Berlin,
would have do you wish you would have stayed with the original name?
no,
No?
no, I'll tell you why. It was cute until people didn't understand it, and it's one of those things where if you have to explain the joke, it's not funny. So oh, they spelled breaking wrong. Yes, I know, motherfucker. It's
Every time.
every
Every time.
every time.
I just
So
start off with that now.
yeah,
Like this
what?
is how you spell it and this is why.
Right, right,
That
right.
way I never
Well,
get
I think that's why BrakeSec's probably a little easier with regards to that.
yeah.
But yeah, it just
10 years
makes it a
ago.
little easier to shorten it down. But yeah, I mean, it
And
was clever at the time.
the first 3 years was just you two.
Is it been 7 years? Wow,
Yeah, I just
wow.
looked.
Good job, Miss Berlin.
Years.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
we were really lagging for the first 3 years, and then it kind of picked up after Miss Berlin, I think.
Yeah, you kind of
Mr. Betcher was
upgraded.
carrying the show, and I just had the name. That's all it was. So yeah, but yeah. So we're recording this one for podcasts prosperity, and we're starting our 10th year, which I don't know a lot of groups that regularly are still doing content after 10 years.
And still like each other after that long.
That's
I
true. There have
often,
been some
Right?
yeah,
conflicts among
Yeah.
the podcasting.
yeah. There's a good number, and there's so many podcasts now
There's a
about
lot.
so many different things. I don't want to say there was only a few of them in town at the time, but I mean, I cut my teeth on risky business, which is still going on, and now he's got like a whole risky business news network thing
Oh
now.
yeah.
Patrick over there, Paul Asadorian. I started listening to Paul.com Security Weekly, and then it's no longer Paul.com because of legal issues, and then it became Paul
Yeah.
Security Weekly, and I listened to about 400 episodes of that, and then and then Defensive Security was another one that we worked with Andrew and
Really like that one.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, there's so many of them now. Hacker Valley podcast. You've got BSD Bandit and his crew over there. I mean, yeah, and thankfully it's
It's true.
um,
Security Weekly has their whole thing. Like they have
oh, they
10
yeah,
podcasts too. They have
yeah.
one for everything.
Yeah,
An
Enterprise Security Weekly,
enterprise.
Startup Security Weekly, yeah, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's good to see that we're thriving. There's still a lot of folks that still have the passion for security and infosec. Miss Berlin's been on several. I think you were on one just recently, right?
Security Weekly?
Were you on Security Weekly?
Yeah,
Okay,
I was on it not too long ago talking about small business IR stuff.
there you go.
Uh,
There
yeah.
you go. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought I saw you post something up on LinkedIn where you were on another podcast or something like that as well. So
I was also on 7 Minute Security
that's
recently.
it. 7 minute
Mhm.
security. Yes.
We should
Yes.
get him. We should get Brian on too. He's great.
We don't need another Brian. Can he
Why
be called
not?
something else? Could we
I
call him?
guess.
I could call my middle name just C.
Charlie.
Hi, I'm C. Welcome to and,
Sure.
yeah.
B1, B2, and B3.
Oh Jesus. I'm of the opinion that if you were born in the late 70s in the Midwest, your name had to be Brian for some reason.
Right.
I don't know why. I don't know
Right.
why.
Does his last name also start with a B?
No.
Okay, good.
Oh, there you go.
That's something. Yeah, that's something.
Yeah. No, it does not.
Was it
That's
really
good.
7 minutes? Is it really 7 minutes?
7 minute. No, and I probably should have asked him why he calls it 7 minute security.
Yeah.
Because it was an hour.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Um,
but it was really good. It was really good. And then I was also on the Mindful Business Security show, which is cool. It's focused like towards just small businesses. That's
right.
not focused towards security people.
Yeah.
And that's run by Accidental CISO.
Oh, very
So
cool.
it
Okay.
was nice being on with him. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, it's good to see that there's still a lot of folks that are doing security stuff. I will continue, and we will continue doing security stuff. And thanks to folks like Beta Wolf for supporting us long term here in our chat. And everyone and their mom has a podcast. He says, except me, I want one. It's not hard, Beta Wolf. When Mr. Betcher and I started, it was just two jackasses and a microphone, and then we got Miss Berlin and. Well, one jackass.
Yeah,
And
the
a
third
microphone and
jackass.
Mr. Bedford, yeah. Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. So yeah, I mean, we're always going to be here. The message is, everything is based in security, and some of our topics dance around security, but everything connects security, whether it be leadership, whether it be operations, whether it be customer experience, user experience, etc. Miss Berlin adds authenticity.
Do
Wow.
my best.
You do your. Yeah. Thank you, Beta Wolf. Yeah, that's not a kick in the teeth that I expected tonight. So no, it's okay. Yeah. So I'm
Better than being the token female.
Oh, see, I was never that. It's never been that. It's never been that. So, but. It's amazing how 10 years have, and 7 for Ms. Berlin, but nearly 10 has changed us. I mean, we were all doing much different jobs 10 years ago when we started this.
Yeah.
What were you doing, Ms.
much
Berlin?
different.
What were you doing?
7 years ago.
Hurricane Labs? I think you were at Hurricane Labs.
I was at Hurricane Labs 7 years ago.
And
Yeah.
you were just
So
finishing up Hurricane Labs' podcast thing because they were like, yeah, we don't want to do that anymore or something.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah, I was doing network firewall security stuff, managing checkpoints, and that was terrible. Hated all of that.
Yeah, yep. I think what it was, we were at the podcast with podcasters at DerbyCon and had found out that you had they just stopped the hacker or the Hurricane Lab stuff, and I was like, wow, we really need to get her on our show. And Mr. Betcher was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. She'll just take the spotlight. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say it. He was like, yeah, we got to absolutely get her on, and the rest is history, of course. But it was just a no-brainer for us. Yeah, and Mr. Betcher and I, when we started the show, we were both working together. We've actually done, I'd say, better than 98% of our podcasts remotely. Because we did like 3 or 4 shows in Austin, and then I moved to Seattle, and then I moved to San Diego, and with the exceptions of a couple of shows with DerbyCon and what have you, it's been like this. So, and I think it's worked out. I think it's been okay, but yeah. Mr. Betcher, what did you ever think you would be where you are right now from 10 years ago?
What, with the podcast or with a career?
Like with your career, yeah.
With a career, no, not really. I didn't know where I was going to be in 10 years. Seriously. Maybe a manager for like a NOC or a SOC, something like that, or software support manager. Yeah. So definitely up to my game in the security world, and then therefore got higher level jobs every 2 or 3 years, right?
Nice.
As I went. So yeah, definitely better than I thought I would be as far as a job.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I expected to be like, red team, Ubermensch or something like that, popping shells and everything. I think we talked a little bit about this before. I was like, when we first started this, I was like all in on red team, oorah, oorah, popping me some shells. And well, that didn't last long, did it? I actually think that the fact that I had ADHD and did not get myself diagnosed probably contributed to some of that, because of the stress of feeling like I needed to know everything and there was so much to learn and so much to know. And so that's why we were doing like shows like every week, right? Because it was like, oh, we're just bouncing from topic to topic to topic to topic. And yeah, I would have never have realized. I think CrowdStrike was where I realized, hey, I don't have what it takes to be a red teamer. And that's when I moved over to PM work. So that was in 2017. Then I went to Leviathan. Now I'm at the joint I'm in now, and running bug bounty. I'm doing some incident response stuff, and it's it's interesting where we've been in 10 years, and maybe we'll all be CISOs in 10 years.
I make that face because you're probably right.
No, I don't think I want to be
contemplating.
a CISO.
I don't like that at all. But just seeing what I've seen over the past like couple of years, yeah, definitely. Sadly.
Yeah. Hey, Digital Warhead, what's up?
I have the same feeling. It's like I'm thinking of some of the best CISOs that I know, and thinking, man, I could never get that good. But then the average CISO is
not that good.
Yeah, probably not good.
I think it depends on when you start interviewing for these CISO roles, or you see those CISO roles online. And I've actually, talked with our friend Jen and Wendy Knox Everett and them. It really depends on if they're looking for a technical CISO, or if they're looking for a thought leader CISO, or they're looking for, somebody who can, yeah, exactly. And it's, I think this
one job I was in, they were grooming somebody to be like a CEO type. So they just placed them in the CISO position so they'd get to know a lot of security, but their background was in finance. Right. So didn't help.
That's interesting. Yeah. So Wendy, who I used to work with at Leviathan, she has her law degree. And I was like, wow, that seems like a perfect degree to have for a CISO, because you can embrace that legal risk-taking side and say, well, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not your lawyer, but I from a legal point of view, I would say security probably should do X, Y, or Z, or what have you. Like most people, 20 years ago, somebody told me to go get my MBA, and I was like, I'm not going to get my freaking MBA. I should have gotten an MBA. I think from a security point of view, I think that's probably the best, because as we progress further in our careers, we start having to increase our bubble size, if you will. And I'm, for those of you in the audio podcast, I'm emoting with my hands. You stop thinking tactically, and you think operationally and strategically about security things. CISO's not going to be down here making, setting firewall rules, creating YARA rules. No offense, Mr. Berlin, but it's very tactical. It's very reactive. It's very, and a CISO is, I would argue, more strategic and proactive, and like wanting to make sure things are, planning for the future, and trying to head off those things, understanding trends, understanding where attackers are going to go. And, instead of being they don't want to be reactive. Reactive is a resume generating event for them for in many purposes and chances. So, I think it just depends on, I think there's a lot going on with CISOs. And I think the only reason we're seeing things bad about CISOs is because, one, the media likes to conflate that stuff, and they like a drama, they like a train wreck. And the companies that are being hit from the CISO stuff is probably companies that don't have a good culture or a good idea about security. I'm just going to put that right out there. I mean, you got the Ubers of the world, or you've got the covered up conspiracy, or covered up a breach by using bug bounty using the bug bounty, the one that just recently occurred, with that. So, I mean, I forget the one that just recently came up where the CISO was put on trial and had to spend time. Was that Fleabay or whatever it was? I forget. But yeah, I think there's a lot of CISOs out there that are doing their job on a regular basis. They're doing a great job. It's just we see so many in the news that it's like, oh my God, this is something bad that happened. And, they're the less than 1%, right? There's thousands of CISOs out there that are doing their job every day that don't probably get a lot of credit for what they're doing. So I think CISOs are still a good thing. Depending on which company you want to work for, you don't want to be the CISO of Twitter or X or whatever, but there's, companies out there that are looking for a good CISO that, want that. So
it's interesting about the MBA stuff, because I also, I probably won't ever go back to school unless somebody pays for it and my kids are graduated.
Right.
Like then I might think about it, but with young kids and that's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I have hard enough time helping them keep up with their homework, let alone me do mine and all the other extra stuff. So
yeah. Well, I mean, in MBA, you also do things like finance and stuff too, which is kind of weird. But I actually got quite a bit. I as long as it can fit in an Excel spreadsheet, I guess that's fine. But yeah. So, Mr. Betcher, how about you? Would you, what kind of company would you like to go to as a CISO? I mean, would you like to be a thought leader? Would you like to be the guy who goes out to conferences and talks about the latest trends that are coming up, or do you just want to be like, I just want to be there to be helping my security team? Neither one is bad for me. It's just it just depends on some people want the glory and the to be the person on Twitter that everybody likes, the Bob Lords or whatever of the world, versus rank and file like CISOs.
I mean, I like the large companies because I feel like I'm making more of a difference. The medium-sized companies as well, because they could have thousands of employees there and do things that affect millions of people. So yeah, I think startups is like a coin flip. So to be a CISO in a startup, you're probably doing 20 other jobs too, right? So yeah, medium to large company. Because I would probably feel like I'm contributing to society, to the world, right? In the decisions I'm making.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm coming up on my 3rd anniversary of the place I work at right now, and there's a lot to do there. It's one of the first places I've ever felt like, I'm making a difference. And it's one of those things, working on this side of it. I used to be the guy 10 years ago that would badmouth similar companies because, it's like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on in that company, but I had an opinion about it. And then I get in there and it's like, okay, that's why, once you've worked in a company like this, then it's like, okay, now I understand why the media does what they do. Or it's also the same reason I don't advertise who I work for, because of that. But, that, and I don't want the PR weasels on me, but yeah, I mean, everything is done in our organization for a reason, and there are people that legitimately care about security and privacy and governance and regulatory stuff in our orgs. And just like we hate on the government, we're like, oh, they're doing all kinds of shit with our stuff. There are people legitimately there going, we told you people to do it this way, you didn't do it this way, now we're ass over elbows, and you need to fix it. And so there are people that call people to the carpet all the time on this stuff. And but yeah, once you've worked in a big organization or an organization like that, you realize that I got introspective after about a year working at this place. I was like, wow, I don't want to go back and listen to the old podcast because I'm probably a dick to some of these companies in the old podcast. So but yeah, it's a maturity thing, right? Until you've worked at those big companies, you just really don't know. So.
And I don't know if I ever would want to.
Right. You would do well here, Miss Berlin. You really would. Mr. Betcher would too. Yes.
I don't know.
Both of you would. Yeah. Mr. Betcher and I are definitely. I could introduce you to some people. So yeah. But we've got some topics. Was reminiscing, going down the yellow brick road of.
Yeah, we got it after. History edition.
When we started, we didn't even use video. I've mentioned this more than once, but we would have been streaming almost 2.5, 3 years ago if I had figured out and had the the gumption enough to get this shit started, we would have been one of the early people on Twitch, or YouTube or what have you. Sadly, and so now I'm learning things like video editing and audio editing through DaVinci Resolve and stuff like that to try to.
When are we gonna
create
start
content.
doing like TikTok shorts? Like when are we gonna start?
Well, as
No,
soon as my
no.
OnlyFans gets up, I will definitely do that.
I mean, I
so.
think mine's still
There you
active.
go.
I probably shouldn't go to it on my work computer though.
Well, you do run the filters, right? So you're probably
I do
okay,
not.
right?
We have a completely separate internal security team, which is very weird. All right. Like working as a security person my entire life, it was always like security, right? Like
Right.
that's one of the reasons you work as an admin or work because like I want to do my own stuff on my own. No, we have a completely separate department.
Yeah. I was corporate security at CrowdStrike. Which was why I was super paranoid, and I had like my work computer and my play computer, and my work computer was completely isolated on its own separate wireless network, and it didn't connect to anything else in the network because my wife also worked for a big company, and APT1 was the new hotness, Fuzzy Bear, and
You don't want to be the ground zero for
I didn't want to be that guy. Yeah, when
hopping
Impotent
from
Panda
one
comes
company to the
in,
other.
yeah, when Impotent Panda comes in, I don't want it to be touching me. So,
Right.
yeah. Yeah. So, there was a couple things I was stalking people on. I mean, I was looking up people on. I was reading posts on LinkedIn. We'll call it that. And I saw somebody who said they were looking for a project planner type of app.
Right.
Yeah. So Ms. Berlin, maybe you could explain to us that. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I remember that post, and you were said
perfect.
you're looking for a project planner for what, security projects or
No, because we use a slew of things at work, right?
like
we have
Asana and Jira and
Jira and
those things?
Confluence and
Right.
other things that I don't remember. Than Atlas. It's
Right.
another Confluence or another Atlassian product. This is more personal professional goal setting and planning. So this whole thing started out. My across the street neighbor is a professor, and she took a sabbatical for like 9 months or something, and didn't have a schedule, like a set schedule, and it freaked her out. She wanted to have somebody that she went over her plans with and to like set goals and brainstorm and have like accountability.
Mhm.
So it was great. Like we met for like on and off for 9 months, almost a week. And we set personal and like 3 personal, 3 professional goals. And it was the first time I had ever used a planner. And I was hit and miss, right? Like it's difficult to start new habits, right? Especially when they're healthy habits, that can be really hard.
Exactly.
And I did okay. I filled probably 7 months ish out, on and off, and I finished this one, right? So I would like a new. So this one was what's it called? It was a Kickstarter, I think. So it's Plan, Attract, Manifest, and so it's this planner, and it's got like your month at a glance. You have like a calendar that you can put a bunch of stuff in, all that kind of stuff, right? They have a goal tracker. Well, that's not a great example because I didn't fill that one out. But you can do a whole bunch of stuff in it. And we also, after that whole thing finished, I'm like, well, I feel like a part of my life is missing. I had this accountability partner, and now I don't because she had to go back to work. And so I started it at work, right? So we have an accountability channel in Slack. And for a while, there was 4 of us meeting. And then one person left. So there's just 3 of us now. And I'm trying to get like more people at work involved and like to understand what this is about. Like we come to the meeting, we talk about goal setting and struggles that we've had and how we're going to try and overcome those struggles and like all of this kind of stuff. We just kind of, it's very therapeutic, right? And helps. So thing I was looking for is something to kind of track those goals and plan out those goals and just go from month to month, and kind of work towards them and build healthier habits. So
Okay. And this is not just for like PM type stuff, like at work, or is it?
no, most of my stuff was not work related.
Okay.
A lot of it was, I mean, I had on there like finish writing chapters for the book, right?
Okay.
I had like they're still professional goals.
Right.
They're just not Blue Mirror related, right? So like
Okay.
my one goal last quarter was I want to hit 10,000 steps a day or rowing class 5 times a week.
Right.
Right. I
Right.
got that one great, right? I wanted to drink less. So like one of my goals is 3 months sobriety-ish. So I didn't ish. I mean, like a
You
glass
want to
of wine or
reduce.
something with
You want to reduce,
dinner.
but don't
Right.
teetotal. Okay.
I wanted to be like a classy drinker, not just, getting blitz every weekend.
Right. Well,
Kind of
if you want to be
right?
classy, you just stick your pinky out when you drink your beer.
Sure.
Yeah. There
Eventually
you go.
you have too many though, and your pink you forget it all. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Pinky starts drooping. So
yeah.
yeah.
So that was one of them. There was like I wanted to do a rough draft on a new talk topic.
Oh.
So
Okay.
yeah, like all over the place. But that's the reason I asked the question, because I have like this book too, which is one of my favorites. It's Plans for World Domination.
Okay.
And it's just an empty notebook,
I see.
but it's fun to
Well,
write in.
okay. Well, does it matter where you have your accountability at? Because as much as I hate to admit it, I'm kind of lagging on my world domination plans as well, because I have things I want to do. Like I have an idea for another stream that I'd love to do that's not security related, or I'd like to set up some training and run through some topics that I've been working on. I have actually, I don't know why I've suggested this, but I was working with somebody during a technical editing session on a book that shipped, and I think we've talked about it. He was like, "Hey, do you want to write a book?" And I was like, "Do I want to write a book?" And so the thought was, yeah, maybe to write a book, but we could put an accountability channel in our Discord or in our Slack or something, and the Rust study guy, so Beta Wolf, who's in our chat right now in our Slack, had mentioned a Rust study group or something like that. It feels like, to have accountability, you need somebody who will hold you accountable, not necessarily a PM or a manager type, but somebody to go like, "Hi, my name is Brian. I can't do shit unless somebody tells me, hey, are you on task?" kind of thing. But it's like, it just feels like you need like a nudge or somebody to keep reminding you of those things in a nice way, and that it's not going to impact your career in some way.
Right. Which is why we meet once a week at work.
Okay.
And I do like that, because there's people from different groups. So it's like there's another girl from engineering, but she's on the front end development team, so I never work with her. And we have somebody from support, and I rarely work one-on-one with support. Okay. So it's nice to have people from other places in the company. And also like we're working on each other, helping each other with our personal goals, less that you don't want it to just be another work meeting, right? Like this was like above and beyond that.
Sounds like an accountability, like stand up or something. Hey, what did you do this week to make that happen? What are you going to do next week on this?
And like asking each other questions and giving advice, and because we're all also at different points in our lives, right? One person has small children, the other one has none, and that's I think it's interesting, and
I like it. I think it's a great idea. Mr. Betcher, I don't want to leave you out here, but I mean, have you, do you have anything like that where you're like mentoring people, or do you have stand-ups or something like that where you're setting not just business goals, but do you have had anything like that in the past?
Yeah, as a manager, well, we're talking strictly employees. I have one-on-ones every week, so we can talk about whatever they want to talk about. If they want to talk about work, fine, let's do it. Otherwise, if they want to talk about personal stuff or career goals, we'll talk about that. as well.
Right.
So it's an open 30 minutes a week,
Mhm.
whatever you want to tackle.
Right.
Some
you subscribe.
employees are strictly work, right?
Yep.
And some are like, oh, my cat did this, and
Yeah.
or my family members did whatever, and that's perfect.
That's
So
interesting because, yeah. So you said you've got people that talk strictly about work in your one-on-ones, and then other people like your cats. I'm one of those people where I go in with my boss, and to be fair, so like I said, I started working at the new joint. I started working at this big org and then moved to a different department. When the first two managers I had in this organization, I hated. I mean, literally broke out in a cold sweat when I would know that my one-on-one was coming, and it was like, oh my god, okay, I've not done shit this week, or it felt like I didn't do shit this week. The guy I'm working with now, JY, AJY.
Hey. Hey, Brian, a raise. I don't know.
It doesn't feel that way. I don't hate the fact that Friday's coming up, and my 1 o'clock with him is making my ass sweat. It does.
That's a good feeling.
That way. It's great. I really love it. It's one of the, and I've told him things that I haven't told people before, as a manager, and it's one of the things because trust is a huge thing for me, creating that trust. And I've told him things. I told him about my ADHD, which I never would have told any other manager about that. I was like, I don't want you using it like a crutch or anything, or like, oh yeah, Brian's just got his ADHD. But I was like, I hope you understand what that means when I tell you this kind of shit, because 25 plus years, I never opened up to a manager at all. And I was like, the trust thing, he's generated enough trust with me that I felt like I could actually be honest with him. I was like, hey, I'm not liking working over here at site, this job over. Almost mentioned a project name. I'm not liking working over here. I need to get out of here. And he helped make it happen. And his actions were things that helped to generate trust for me, which is another talk I'd love to give about how people figure trust out or do trust. But yeah. I've never actually done like just want to, talk shit for 30 minutes about, not work related items, like, my cat does things or whatever. So that's kind of interesting. So maybe I'll try that next week with him.
I have had one-on-ones just become like bitch sessions before.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
It can be that as well. And as long as, if it's directed toward another employee of the company, that we kind of settle that and
right.
And
right.
Take it.
Try and do something constructive
not turn
with it.
Right.
Not take their side necessarily, but kind of have a neutral standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But just be open, let them open up. We do. All companies should, most do, have an open door policy where you can talk about whatever you want and there's no retribution that can be brought. So yeah, they can definitely talk about whatever is on their mind or whatever they feel like talking about.
I like the idea of the open door policy, except it can backfire on you. I have seen it happen where, supposedly what's said here stays here, and yet it gets out. And I'm like, ugh, okay. I still try to keep my comments somewhat political instead of saying, that person's a complete nut job and, they need to, get the fuck out. I've been burned by that. So I try to, because I know that after all of it, he's still my manager. So it's like, I gotta watch. I don't want to say watch what I say about other people, but it's like, I have to tread. There's a line I have to tread where it's like, I lay it out and then he makes, oh yeah, well, that wasn't good. And I was like, or he says other things, but he's like, basically, oh yeah, that's completely effed up. And I was like, yes, thank you for agreeing with that assessment that I also came up with about 2 days ago on this thing. But yeah, so my last one-on-one with him was, I said, let me lay out a hypothetical for you. And he's like, okay. And I was like, let me say let's say I say I'm going to put in my paperwork for advancement. Like I want a promotion, so I'm going to start that process. And I said, what would be your reaction to that? And he sat there and he was like, and I was like, okay, so you're hesitating, so there's something wrong. So we need to talk about what that means. If you're like, if your answer out of your mouth isn't, yeah, let's go ahead and do that, there's a problem. He's like, no, I'm just trying to, speak to it doesn't work like that where you just put your packet in. And I was like, yes, I understand that, but if the question still stands, if I said I think I'm ready for advancement, what would you say? And he was like, okay, well, we can talk about that then. And so, it was just this time of year, and it's been 3 years, and I've told him about my work, and that basically the only way I've ever gotten a promotion in 25 years of work was going to a new job. Because most everywhere I worked, you had to die to get a promotion in those areas, defense contractors, startups, what have you. And I was like,
Yeah.
it would be nice to actually work at a place where I've actually been promoted within the organization, and been there. So we're talking about what that looks like. It was a nice, frank discussion. He didn't tell me that I wasn't ready. He was like, we'll start the process with you. And he's like, as the process goes along, you'll understand how much of a uphill climb that's going to be. But he's like, you're doing everything you need to do right now to make that happen eventually. And he's like, he wanted to stress to me that, the level that I'm at currently in my organization is a career level area. Like, this level that you're at, people will be at this company for 10 to 15 years and never go above this level. And I was like, it kind of ran counter to me, right? It's like, you expect people to want to be ambitious, to want to
not this guy
rise. And so, he's a very political animal, which I appreciate. He's very connected. And I was like, it feels like if I'm not getting promoted, that I'm not doing a good job. Or if my management doesn't want me to get promoted, then it feels like I'm not doing a good job. It's like I've had to unlearn a lot of stuff. It's like, you're doing good, you get promoted, right? At this organization, it's like, you do good stuff, you don't have to get promoted. Yeah. So it was really weird. So,
guys, I'm going to have to drop. Really great discussion. You two keep going. My internet keeps cutting out, so I'm getting half the picture. But I will leave everybody with this advice on career. The best way to get a promotion is to already be doing the job that you're trying to get promoted to.
Right.
Because if you want to move from an analyst to an engineer, then focus on all the engineers' responsibilities.
Make their jobs easier.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, don't do any more analyst work unless you have to, but reach out to the engineering work, right? Just an example. Do the engineering work and do almost nothing but the engineering work. Train your replacement, right? And then when you go to ask for a raise or a promotion, say, look, I want to be promoted in there. Why should I promote you? Because I'm already doing it. I've been doing it for 6 months. I've been doing it for a year.
Yep.
So this promotion is just a formality, right? Because I'm already doing the work.
And some people look at it look at that negatively and we're like, I'm not doing work that I'm not getting paid for. Like,
that's
okay, but somebody else
advance.
is going to. Someone else is gonna.
Right.
Yep.
It's an easy conversation to have, and you come up that much further ahead, right?
Exactly.
And so that's an easy talk, instead of saying, well, I'm smart enough to do those jobs. What's better, that or I'm already doing them?
Right. Yep. All right, Mr. Betcher. Love you,
guys.
man. Take off. Have a good night, and go get a good night's sleep.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Later, man. Yep.
I'm glad he wasn't cutting out, though.
Yeah, he wasn't cutting out for me. I don't know. So I'm having to readdress the. Oh, whoops. There we go. There we go. Okay, and I will hide that one. So there we go. You're not Brian Betcher.
The stream.
Yeah. One day Zoom will be good about those kinds of things. But yeah. So I gave you the bigger screen anyway, or the bigger picture anyway on the overlay. So.
Oh.
So when you're at a startup, So, and we're still talking about leadership and security and stuff like that. So if you're watching, please ask questions in the chat. We're always available to ask questions. I actually did click on your link there, Beta Wolf, about the hacking of the city. I saw that story too, as well, from somebody who almost hacked a city by picking up an expired domain. That happens a lot. It does, even at a big organization. But we'll talk about that, but one of the pieces of feedback we got was we covered too much news. So one of the things I want to do is kind of talk about topics that are not news related. So, Ms. Berlin, is promotion something that you look forward to in your organization? Have you talked with your management about that?
I had never ever wanted to be in management. Right. I've also I didn't ever want for a very, very short amount of time, I wanted to do red teaming stuff, but I really didn't go for that much at all. I do like deeply technical work though.
Right.
And I love doing hands on keyboard, but I also really like impacting change and impacting the product. And after having been hands-on for so long, that's a lot of valuable knowledge to not impact a product in a startup. Right. So I took over this half management role like a year and a half ago-ish. Because our manager left and then nobody was doing the job. So I'm like, back and forth for like 6 months before I'm like, all right, I guess I could do it because it's a lead, right? It's lead incident detection engineer. I can lead other people on the team. I can still do a whole bunch of hands-on work. And then I've had conversations with my boss and my boss's boss and a whole bunch of people just about like, once you go full management, it's real hard to go back. Right?
Well, sure.
Right. I could do it at any point, right? I could go to director level or CISO level or whatever. I'm not afraid that I could do the job. It's just that I could always change to that. Changing back isn't as easy.
Right.
And that permanence.
Right. And yeah, and I think it's like if I tried to go back and be a red teamer, the tactics and things that I learned back when I was doing what I considered to be hacking or red teaming, some of the tools haven't changed. I mean, everybody still uses burp, everyone, but there's so many new techniques, DLL injections and shit that I never learned how to do. And it's, it's some of the stuff that, I'd always wanted to do on the podcast. And that's kind of coming back to this. It's like, I'm not overly technical anymore. I'm learning the Yara stuff because it's like, okay, I'm working with detection security teams and, and IR teams and stuff. When things come in, it's like, okay, I need to understand, the format of these things. Okay. Yeah. Yara is pretty easy to do. Sigma was another one that we use quite a bit at the office. And, we do packet capture and full packet captures of things to look for, and we do reverse engineering and analysis of binaries and stuff. But it's like I am no longer a technical person. I can make tickets. I can ask questions. I can threat model, because threat modeling is, I can ask what if questions all damn day. But it's like me, hands on keyboard, I'm still good with command line and stuff, but it's like, I'm not going to be able to do it. I have to facilitate discussion between teams as a manager.
Right.
My guys, my folks here who are doing the hard work, I'm their shit filter now between this management people and these product people. I'm a people person, damn it.
Right. Right. Exactly.
I have to facilitate the communication because some teams don't want to talk to security people, or some people don't want to reach out to product teams, or, it's like they send a ticket and they expect shit to get done. And then it's like, well, I send a ticket. It's going to get done because I sent a ticket. And it's like, it's not going to get done because those product teams or this management person's got 15 other things they're doing. They don't have time to look at your ticket. So I'm on Slack channels and I'm hitting people up on email and things. And it's like, I feel like I'm not doing anything, but then it's like everybody's like, oh my God, he's like talking to teams and he's collaborating with these 5 other people and whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just on fucking Slack all day, telling
Yes.
people, hey, have you looked at this ticket? What about this thing? Have you thought
But
about this?
I want to tell
are
you, engineering had a person like that, and they moved into a different position in a different different group.
Right.
Holy cow, did we notice?
Oh, really?
Oh my
Really?
gosh. Yeah, when
Really?
you try and make a bunch of engineers run their own projects
Oh,
and
yeah.
talk, like cross communicate, doesn't go as well.
Yeah. 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 So, I'm working with the compliance people to do this thing, and I've got this thing I want to talk about, but I've got legal over here telling me, and I'm on calls with GRC and legal and product, and the GRC and legal folks want to do it this way, and I'm like, no, we can do it with the thing that we already have in place, and
Yeah.
this Googling, I'll tell you something. The only thing that I've brought from my technical side that has still been quite useful for me is my Google dorking and researching skills.
Okay.
Nothing like going through a whole heap of tickets in a Jira or something, or searching by keywords, or looking on the company wiki for certain keywords, and finding old tickets that I can go, okay, I don't know who to contact, but hey, here's a similar ticket and they contacted this team, and it's like, hey, I'm going to contact that team because they had a similar ticket and whatever. Or I hit up somebody, they're like, oh yeah, no, it's not this person. You got to go talk to this person. I'm doing the DMV stuff. It's like, oh, you don't talk to that person. You talk to that person.
Yes.
No, I'm not the person you need to talk to. He left 5 years ago. You need to talk to him.
Right.
It's like, I'm doing all this stuff because my team over here is still trying to do the technical stuff, and they don't have time to do this. So I'm running interference with a lot of these things. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing a damn thing until my boss, who I've had one-on-one with, he's like, oh yeah, feedback I've gotten from your team is like, you're a fucking stellar person. I'm like, I ain't done
Okay.
shit. Okay,
I'll
whatever.
take it. I'll take it.
Okay, whatever. But yeah, it's just interesting. What people call leadership really varies by what the
role you
functions
have
are.
to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I see my guys like once or twice a year. They're on the EU or Germany or whatever. So by the time I get on, I have about 3 hours of overlap with them. So in the afternoon, a ticket will come in through Bug Bounty or something, say, and it'll be like, oh crap, we probably should let somebody know. So I'm working the ticket. Of course, I don't follow the process by which they create tickets, but I'm still contacting that team and going, hey, there's something fucking wrong. My team is in Europe and EU outside of work hours, but I need you to start working on this shit now. And so they come in the next morning. I was like, hey, sorry, I didn't make this ticket correctly, but they're already working on it and it's over here. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. So, it saves them time, it saves them a little effort. But it's just interesting to see what, I don't know how to, my kryptonite's gone for the day. So I don't take it but once a day, but it's hard to know you're doing a good job or feel like you're doing a good job because it doesn't feel like what you would consider a typical manager role would be. There are typical managers at where I work, and there's typical managers where you work, I'm sure. But my management, I guess that's what middle management is. It's like that go-between between, the super.
We're not that big enough. We're not really big enough yet to have much middle management. Because like our CISO still commits, our CTO still commits a crap ton of code.
Really?
Oh yeah.
On purpose?
Yeah. He's amazing. I think we've had him. Did we have Matt on when we did a Blue Mirror sponsor?
We probably did.
Podcast?
We probably did. Yeah.
Super smart guy. And Blue Mirror is his baby, so he can crank out projects real fast. Yeah.
He doesn't maintain them though. He kicking them out and leaving.
Well, yeah. I mean, he has 5 million other things I'm sure to do, but
right. At some point, y'all will be big enough that he's going to have to let go.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, he's going to have to. He's going to have to be like,
And that's when we go make another startup.
Well, how long has he been there? How long has he been here?
So I actually just got an email that I hit my 5-year anniversary, but there's 6 of us, still 6, maybe 5 of us that started 5 years ago, even though we were working on Blue Mirror stuff a year and a half before that. So
okay. So you've hit your cliff. Why are you still there?
I love it.
I know, I'm just kidding, but a lot of startups, you see that, at 4 years, they're like, they're going to go on and take on other challenges. No. They've fully vested and they're done. They're going to go and move off somewhere
I
else.
have
or
not
into
fully
rich.
vested yet.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
because you get more with
The handcuffs.
time.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah. No,
ongoing investment. Yeah.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah. So,
And I have the license plate. Like I would have to
that's right.
get a different license plate, and like half my clothes are Blue Mirror branded now.
You know, it's funny. I don't have work stuff because
Really?
I hate the fucking logo, to be honest. But I have a lot of Charger stuff now. My wife got me a lot of Charger stuff, so I'm a San Diego Charger fan. Football, American Hand Egg, for those of you that are not in America. We did shitty this year. We didn't even make the playoffs. As a matter of fact, the Bills and Dolphins are playing right now. But there are definitely people that I can guarantee if I went to their house where I work, more than half their closet would be company apparel.
Oh, yeah.
That is from the company store, with the logo on it or what have you. So.
I do want to talk. Speaking about logos, I do want to talk about something really quick, just because I think it's funny.
Oh, no.
This would never fly at your company. Or it would for a very short amount of time, and then there's probably policies and stuff, but we don't have
until
that
somebody noticed that it was a giant penis or something.
Right. So, I'm going to the World of Concrete at the end of January.
The World of Concrete
With my mat.
Okay, your meat, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm trying to prove a point that I could sell Blue Mirror at a conference that is not technical related.
Okay.
And I'm not a salesperson, right?
Right.
But I made these, which I absolutely love. They're a little smaller than I wanted them to be. I don't know if we can see them.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can kind of see it.
Has it got a hidden something in it?
No, but it says it's a little blue mirror hedgehog, and it has a hard hit and little Tims
cool.
on them, and it says safety for your network.
That's perfect.
And it's a sticker.
That's great.
And I'm just really excited about it because I'm, one, not in marketing, two, not in sales.
Did you use Gen AI or did you use?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And then I edited it a little bit, but this was the only one that came out that all the words were spelled correctly.
Right.
And I'm not good enough at editing things to do that. So I took that one.
So I want to tell you,
really excited.
The new logo with the blue lion was AI generated.
Yeah.
Full disclosure for those of you who don't like AI, that was fully AI generated. There's a tooth issue on the very bottom if you look really hard, but it's pretty damn good. Canva is great.
Canva's phenomenal.
Oh my God, I bought a yearly thing for that and for the other thing that I'm working on. But yeah, Canva is amazing. There's so much you can do with it. It blows my freaking mind.
I've done a lot with Canva.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Worth the money for a membership or the subscription or whatever.
Yeah, Beta Wolf. Yeah, it has a tooth problem on the bottom on one of the teeth, but yeah, I've seen much worse. Whereas I've seen like when I was creating like logos of animals, like wolves had teeth coming out their jaws and shit like this. Looks like an axolotl or whatever. But yeah, it was. But for what it is, it's better than average. So. But yeah, I mean, it's great if you're doing quick and dirty logo and you don't want to pay $500 for something that is basically clip art. So this is just like, this isn't going to be our like company logo, right?
Or anything. It's not even close, right? I just wanted a blue hedgehog.
It's a marketing tool. It's a marketing tool. They're going to create their marketing. People are going to create their own marketing stuff anyway. So yeah. World of Concrete. That's interesting. It's in Las Vegas at the convention center.
It is
3150 Paradise Road, Las Vegas, January 23rd through 20. So you're going to be in Vegas the 23rd through the 25th.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go to the conference really. I'm just going to go and like pass a bunch of these things out and then go work in a hotel probably. But.
Okay. There's a lot to be, some of those companies could benefit probably from security. They just don't know it yet.
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean,
Seriously,
considering
there's so much, it's just hard to sell to SMBs when
Right.
they don't know that security is even an industry sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only thing you'd have to show is like some kind of thing where supply chain disruption, or
Yeah.
where you'd have to show how, your stuff got hacked and now you can't build buildings, or you can't deliver concrete on time, or somebody doesn't make payroll, or your union doesn't like it because your check bounced because you got ransomware or something like that. You'd have to show specific use cases where that would be helpful for them to understand how
Go
would
there
it
and
affect them.
drop an Ode on a tractor or something.
Yeah. Some of those big machines probably run on firmware, or
they do
need upgrades,
definitely.
and or wireless, or got Bluetooth in them. So yeah, if you could show device attacks where they get their big giant Mack trucks bricked or something because of somebody who can do that, that's definitely a way of doing something. So
super random, but I'm just excited about the stickers.
No, that's awesome. That's great. You don't have a table or anything like that?
Oh no,
right?
no, I'm just going as a +1.
Oh, I see.
And I figured if I could get business from this,
Right.
maybe they would pay for my flight.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I went to this non-tech conference and
Very
sold.
cool. See, maybe you could do some interviews with folks, like acting like you're a reporter or something. Hey, what do you think about the John Deere right to repair or construction stuff? Not for the show, but I'm just like act like you're a reporter or something for
just SE my way in.
There you go. Yeah. I'm with Rock and Pebble magazine, and I'm here to talk to you.
Yes.
I'm here with Igneous Monthly, and I would like to there you go.
So great.
Oh man. So yeah, okay. So I'm good. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I know we were talking about like SLAs and stuff before the show, but we don't have to talk about that now. We can always talk about that later. There's always plenty of time to talk about those things. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Is there? I am done. Other than like after tech edit and review stuff, I'm done writing the second edition of the book.
Let me make sure we get your other authors on here. Lee, you,
and Bill.
Bill got a last name.
Yeah, Reyor, Reyor.
Oh yeah, okay. He's not okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll get you all on. We can talk about part 2.
Heck yeah.
If Lee's not
happy.
still busy working on his startup with ex Leviathanites or what have you. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Oh, that might be an interesting thing to chase down too. Cool. Well, what do you have a ship date for that? It's not an animal book from the other company, right? It's a different.
No, it is. No, it's the
it's
same
still an animal company. Oh, okay. Who did your tech review? Obviously not me, so.
I don't remember.
It wasn't me, obviously.
No, I told them to email the same people from the first time.
Okay.
And then but I don't know if that went anywhere. They're supposed to tell me if they don't respond.
It's interesting because when I did one for that company, there was a big giant Google Doc with each chapter in there, and we all went in
this time there
made
is
comments
not.
and things.
Okay, this time there's not, and it's a giant pain. I desperately miss Courtney.
No, this was my contact at that place wasn't Courtney, but yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I probably won't be asked back after the scathing feedback I gave about that book, but
I've given some too, and they keep on asking me to do reviews. So.
Oh, well, that's good. I don't think I've been paid for that one though, so I probably should find out what's up with that. So. Anyway, cool. I'm gonna go. Miss Berlin, why don't you tell people how they would find you other than Vegas on January 23rd?
Come to Vegas. 25th. Yeah, come see me.
Yeah.
Sometimes Twitter at InfoSister,
Twitter.
and more often on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, LinkedIn. I see you on LinkedIn a lot. Like, hey, I've, jet setting on other shows and other podcasts, and I'm like, wow, that's nice.
All the marketing stuff.
That's great. Yeah.
Actually,
I try to remember.
the last one was mental health related. So
yeah. Okay. So yeah, go check out 7 Minute Security. Miss Berlin was on that one. Go check out Accidental CISO's Mindful Security.
Mindful Business Security.
Mindful Business Security.
I think.
Let me go look. Let me go double check. Mindful.
They both do a phenomenal job.
Yep.
Mindful
Business Security Show. Yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
mindfulsmbshow.com. And I'll put that in the chat here. Doink. There you go.
And there's also, I don't know, I'm doing another one at some point here. I don't remember what.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah, we should probably work on, trying to, partner with some of these other shows that do just audio podcasts and see if we can get them on our video shows. So,
yeah.
So, just before we go, Mr. Betcher, you can find him on LinkedIn mostly.
Probably.
Yep. And you can find me on Twitter. I'm still on Twitter, even though, I don't like being on Twitter. It's just, there's no other good place to go other than LinkedIn, maybe. So I'm on LinkedIn too. But if you have comments, questions, suggestions about potential shows or topics, I don't mind going back and talking about hashing again. It's been 10 years. Some things have changed. Some things haven't.
Yeah.
I've actually got somebody who's working OWASP Zap as well, which is the burp equivalent for OWASP. Zed Attack Proxy. I think he had suggested on their Slack to come on as well. So maybe I'll get them on. But if you've got a topic you want to, talk about, we had Gen AI, we've got quantum computing, we've got some Yara Gen stuff, we've got Yara Forge. I think we'll see if Florian Roth wants to come on and talk about Yara Forge or somebody from his company. We're always looking for feedback. So join our Slack, join our Discord. You can, here's the invite, discord.gg/BrakeSec. You can, join that and come and hang out with us. We'll give you a Slack invite if you'd like it as well, if you, DM us on Twitter. And, BrakeSec.com, twitch.tv/BrakeSec. And we have a YouTube channel. So youtube.com/C/BrakeSec or something. I'll put it in the show notes. Anyway, I don't know why LinkedIn doesn't give you like a Vandy plate or something like that for your YouTube stuff. It'd be nicer than going, because I've got a vanity plate for Discord. Discord.gg/BrakeSec. YouTube.com/BrakeSec would be great, but they don't have that. So anyway, that was it for our first show of our 10th year of BrakeSec with Miss Berlin, Mr. Betcher, and myself. Thank you so much. As we're in the small months of winter. It's ugly and cold and dark, and but we want you to make sure you stay safe and healthy. Take care of yourselves, because as we're fond of saying here, you're the only you have. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right. 1 second. I think you'd still hear me. Oh, no. You can still hear me, but I can't hear you. That's the thing. So.
Oh, I wasn't talking.
Oh. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Oh.
No, that's not it either.
Oh, man, now you sound weird.
Yeah, I sound really, really weird. Okay. There we go. Okay. Stop. There we go. All right, cool. Yeah, we're done.